Welcome to Honcho on the Air, a podcast that brings you to the latest talks and the latest trends in business, technology, innovation, and the candid side of C-level executives. Each week on this season, we explore topics and issues on post-pandemic digital transformation, the COVID plan, digital economy, transformation technologies, data analytics and AI, and many more.
Honcho on the Air second season is sponsored by Leica Global App. Leica, the Ultra app. Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss the show by clicking the follow button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
Our guest today is Mr. Tryke Gutierrez. He is the CEO of Tier 1 Entertainment, to which under his leadership single-handedly ushered streamer boom in the Philippines by signing, managing, and promoting the country's most promising young content creators. Tier 1 created a coveted business model that other companies scrambled to replicate in recent years. He's going to share with us the rise of esports during COVID-19. Hi, Tryke. Thank you so
Hi.
much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For sure, maraming makikinig. And for sure, maraming magiging interested to know more about kung saan ka nagsimula. Maybe share a little bit more about your, kung paano nagsimula ang Tier 1 and what motivates you na umabot sa ganitong level, and ano yung what's your strength, or as a leader, how do you manage to to level up this business in a very short period of time? Go ahead, Tryke.
Siguro to start with, I think it's very important to understand where you're coming from as a businessman and as a leader, right? Because in the journey that is entrepreneurship, there are multiple challenges that are ahead of you and you'll have to go through, diba? So parang important kung ano yung purpose mo talaga on why you started it and why you want to do the things you do. And I think for me, the reason why is because I really wanted to change the landscape of esports and gaming, because I was a gamer myself. I am a gamer myself up until today. Na parang before, people were looking down, diba, sa mga gamers and the geek culture and whatnot. But for me, like I was fortunate to be in the middle of the regular space, tapos plus the game space and the geek space then. So because of that, parang I just thought to myself na parang I just wanted to create more opportunities for the next generation na, if they want to pursue gaming as a career, or if they want to compete against the best in the world, they don't have to just rely on a one times a year opportunity that happens in Mall of Asia with little to 100 to 200 people lang may pakialam.
That's true. And but how do you manage to convince, naghanap ka ba muna ng market, or have you positioned yourself as like, okay, die, kailangan kong gawin to, or kahit na staff, or because of the team?
I think for one, yung una siguro is you need to be able to find the right allies. So I think with the introduction that you've made, I don't believe naman I single-handedly did it, diba? Kasi for instance, I have co-founders with me like Brian Lim and Alude Gosheng Piao who helped me build this company together in a way. Tapos siguro yun yung pinaka-important, like find the right allies with the same values as you and the same motor as you, because if you're moving at 500 miles per hour and then if you're working with like 100 miles per hour lang na tao, you're gonna be left behind at one point, and you just need to be able to communicate your speed and your goal and your direction. And I think everything else will really follow after that.
Got it. How do you manage pag may mga instances na not aligned, or maybe some a little bit some challenges on communication, yung mga ganun?
Well, ako kasi fortunately for me, graduate ako ng communication. So organizational communication yung ginraduate ko eh. So I mean, I always say this, especially to a lot of Filipinos, na if you get to find alasalan and Anthony and work together, that will speak a lot, diba? Meaning, kaya yun. Kaya yung mga differences na yan. So, parang with any type of differences, you need to be able to just talk. Just talk. Actually, hindi mo na kailangan pa-complicate. Upo
Oo.
kayo, pag-usapan nyo kahit na mahirap pag-usapan, and then yun, things will fix itself.
I see. Di ba may mga tinatawag na unique approach or na you can easily spot kung ano yung kailangan, no? But how do you manage to accelerate the growth ng mabilis?
Ano talaga? You need to lead by example, I think. And for me personally, I would really give credit to the TriSem system talaga in Lasal. Kasi iba rin talaga yung motor na nabigay sa akin ng TriSem system na parang like every week may ginagawa ka, you just get a 1 month off. So parang you have the foundation of agility and speed from the get-go coming out of college. And then iba like if you have the right habits in a TriSem environment, you'll finish it. So parang I feel like pag nadala mo yon sa work at hindi ka napagod, 'di ba? Parang iba rin yung the way ka mag-operate. And for me like how we deal with speed is kailangan talaga you find people who are competent at what they do, or if not the best at what they do talaga. And what I say best, with best comes speed. Kasi pag sinabing best, some people think it's just quality, 'di ba? Pero for me like best should be quality, quantity, speed. Lahat yan dapat magkakasama, being on time in meetings and stuff like that. So parang overall, mataas siguro yung standard namin for top tier. And the fact na we're surrounded by the right people, yun siguro yung nagpupush namin with the speed.
Okay. How do you manage pag hindi makakonect yung tao?
Iwan! joke lang. Siguro parang kailangan mo talaga silang i-align na sabihin sa kanila na ito yung level ng speed na gusto naming laruin. And usually naman pag you are a destination of the best talents, meaning for example in the gaming and streaming space, parang kami naman yung gusto talagang trabahuhan ng mga tao. So because of that, parang we get to get away with pushing people without pushing people because they want to stay here. They want to work here. This is their destination. And because of that, it pushes them to be better at what they do in terms of everything. Kasi ito yung gusto nilang puntahan. Ito nilang gusto nilang, kumbaga ito yung end goal nila. And then siguro isang factor pa is outnumbered nung excellent yung mga taong kakapasok lang or hindi pa, wala pa doon. So parang infectious yun.
Yeah. So it's meron talagang may benchmark kayo kung what level ang ipapasok sa team and all that. At the same time, pag maiwan.
Hindi naman maiwan. I mean, most of the time naman they adapt, to be honest. And for some that can't really parang adjust with the speed and the quality that we're asking for, they just need to leave for now and then maybe train elsewhere, and then they come back na lang if they really want to stick with us. Kasi parang we always say this na parang tier 1 is yes a family, but at the end of the day you have a certain commitment as a member of the family in which we want to aspire for for bigger things, diba? So thus, kung hindi nila ibibigay yung best nila, I mean unfair naman yun for the rest of the members. And even if they leave naman, we still keep the relationship. So it's more of just, parang hindi pwedeng not with the same speed.
Okay. And pagdating sa customers or what do you call it, partners, how do you convince them?
I think it depends Kasi before, when we started in 2017, our customers were technically the talents, right? Now we needed to get talent so that we can get clients. So during that time, it was helpful that Alodia is one of the co-founders because syempre, when you have someone like that, as established as that, you would definitely attract other talents like her kasi nakita nila na this is a company that, can bring me to that level. Parang ganun. And then eventually that developed into ang naging customers namin are the likes of Facebook Gaming. We have, Adidas, all of the games like Riot and whatnot. At the Unilever, we're working with Mountain Dew now with Kong TV. So parang with those type of clientele, syempre it's not just about bro selling, di ba? Yung parang tawag natin na labas lang kayo and then you can get to sell like a few millions. Parang wala na din You need to be able to convince them through data and proper strategic proposals, in which currently we have 34 people in the commercial team that goes from ideation into delivery ng mismong mga services na yun.
So like B2B na lahat.
No, not lahat. Kasi a big part of what we're doing is still B2C. I mean, we take care of we have B2B, we have B2C din. Kasi syempre we take care of our following. Eh. We have 107 million following in the gaming space. So alam mo yun, like it's very important for us to stay connected with the fans of the talents.
Statistically, there are almost 30 million gamers in the Philippines. With that in mind, do you think the gaming and content industry will be one of the Philippines' stronghold in the near future, and why?
Actually, yung 30 million figure na yun, that's before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic?
Actually, today, nasa ano na siya? 90% of the population. O 90% of the online population.
So lahat are moving into
of the online population na. Kasi right now kasi considered na yung mobile games as gaming. During that time kasi mostly PC pa yung kinakategorize as gamers, right? But with the rise kasi of mobile games, hindi na lang PC yung gamer. Hindi yung nag-PC yung gamer, di ba? Like kahit mobile gamer is a gamer now. So because of that, medyo nag-exponentially grow din talaga yung user base. And I think if you have 3 out of 4, Filipinos in a way that's a gamer, who's a gamer, so syempre hindi pwedeng wala kang strategic plan doon.
Okay. Looking back, how did it differ being leader in a pre- and post-pandemic gaming industry? What are the major challenges you have faced and how did you overcome them?
I think yung pinaka-general na talagang challenge talaga ng gaming and esports is in a world where hindi naman nila naiintindihan kung ano yung ginagawa namin, how do we actually educate people that this is actually a viable career, that this is actually a viable business? How do you find, established investors or established partners who actually work with you guys, diba? Parang yun yung pinaka-biggest challenge from the get-go. And that's why for us, we really started with picking the right people who will become ambassadors of our industry in a way na parang i-educate nila yung tao na eto yung gaming industry. These are the things that are happening here. Hindi lang siya masama. Eto yung mga good side na nangyayari sa kanya. And yun, true enough, in 2021, I mean, people are seeing live streamers left and right. They are your modern celebrities, even more popular than the celebrities of, ABS-CBN and GMA7. I mean, no offense to them, pero that's really what's happening today. And, the biggest YouTubers like Kong TV are like your new Itbulaga, diba? So parang, I still believe naman na those two worlds will exist at the same time. Pero parang there's no questioning siguro the fact that millennials and Gen Z, ito talaga yung mundo nila.
I see. Nakita ko nga parang captured nyo na lahat eh.
Medyo naman. Kasi we also strategically like maneuver ourselves in the internet na we really parang try to look at a realm of influence in the space where mahina ba tayo sa YouTube, mahina ba tayo sa Twitter, how do we get stronger there, paano namin ito mapapasok and whatnot, because what we're trying to build here is one of the biggest soft powers of this generation. Kasi I believe in the importance of soft power, meaning for instance how K-pop and the K-drama scene have really exploded kumbaga kung paano nila na power yung Samsung, yung Kia, yung Hyundai. I mean, all those products were technically accepted by society as cool because of that soft power. For the longest time, for almost 100 plus years, Hollywood has been telling us what to buy. So for me, like if we were to really build a true soft power in gaming and esports, as we enter into Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Myanmar, Malaysia, and then now we're going to Japan. There's a capability where we can really kind of like influence the future generations for the better.
That's true.
Honcho on the Air second season is sponsored by Globe Labs. Redefine possibilities. Like what you hear so far. Make sure you never miss the show by clicking the follow button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
Is it true na the next 2-3 years, sabi nila if you want to position yourself as the key leader or the new tycoons, kailangan makapture mo yung market nila. Yung market nila na ang gamit is phone or or computers. Kasi parang nasa stage na ng, in all honesty, parang nag-level lahat, nag-align eh. And it's just a matter of 12 months to 18 months, then things will accelerate rapidly. Diba? What do you think ang mga industry na magkakaroon ng total shift?
Ako talaga number one talaga finance industry. Because with the whole digital revolution that's happening now, and a lot of volatility in multiple economies in the world, syempre, the dollars, the euros, and the yens of the world are gonna be affected with inflation and a lot of like mga depreciation, di ba?
Yeah.
And now that liquidity is king, syempre yung mga taong may pera, pag nakalagay yung pera nila sa bangko in dollars or in yen or in whatever, nakikita nila nagkakaroon ng negative 3% or whatever yung mga nangyayari movements na yan. Syempre, of course, they don't want that because safety is the biggest currency today. From health to well-being to lahat ng yan, di ba? To financial, lahat. Security is technically, for me, the number one currency in the world. And if that is technically the number one currency in the world, then I for one, believe that crypto is the future. Kasi si crypto talaga is a truly decentralized currency of the world, right? So I feel like sa financial structure, yan yung isa sa mga unang-una talagang mag-shift kasi we're talking about banks being affected, all of the real estate that are tied to the banks, all of the things that are tied to the bank. So I think yun talaga yung ultimate shift. Pangalawa is yung entertainment industry. Like, sports as we know it is gone. Like outside of the NBA, local sports, ang hirap i-operate. All of the other sports are so hard to operate. And hindi lang yun. Like even your telenovelas, even your movies are kind of like paused because ang hirap ng logistical challenges that na pinapresent ni COVID. So, would you rather produce a 15 to 50 million show na hindi ka naman sure kung papatok versus ano low negotiating fee just streaming from her house? Kaya mo na lang yun, di ba? So parang that's the power of Tier 1 Entertainment. We have 1,000 plus streamers streaming from their own houses without limitations in logistics to entertain people.
Yeah.
Diba? And yun yung parang shift na I've seen in entertainment because of the pandemic. And then, last but not the least, I think, yung talaga, e-commerce. Diba, like, impossible that we've stayed in our houses for 1 year plus and not have a certain residue in terms of behavior of learning to buy online. Diba? Yeah. Like before, you always had some distrust kasi on online selling. Kasi parang may ibang darating or whatnot, right? But when there is a fear of COVID and you go to malls and stuff, syempre matatakot ka na rin and you'll be like, makabili na nga sa Lazada or sa Shopee and whatnot or sa Shein or kung saan man, diba? And then when those items come to you, you're like, okay naman pala eh. And then yun, parang I feel like that will really affect a lot of the behavior going forward.
I see. Ano nakikita mo sa future, the next 2 years?
I honestly think that people should be building more, should really focus more on digital connectivity rather than physical infrastructure. I feel like in general kasi we've figured out that we can connect people not just through roads, but actually through a good network. And Korea has already showed that since 1997 when they built fiber across the country and that created a boom for esports and a lot of other things, right? Yeah. And I think for the Philippines, marami nang nakaka-realize yan. And that's why a lot of tech companies are coming up. Maraming, alam mo yun, nagkakaroon na ng mga venture funds, nagkakaroon na ng mga usapan talaga na to create a Silicon Valley in the Philippines. And I feel like the Philippines are really capable naman talaga of producing unicorns because we're a very hardworking group of people. Yun lang. And with just the right alignment in values and mindset, I think we can go global.
Cool. Iniisip ko na nga ng mga industry yung tatamaan eh. At ano yung mga industry na new players na papasok, na-accept?
Maraming mamamatay din.
Ha?
Marami ring mamamatay na businesses.
Brick and mortar. Diba? Yung sinasabi mo kanina, brick and mortar. Pero may total shift eh. At the same time, do you think yung shift aabutin ng decades tulad ng mga previous changes? Diba? Every 10 years ang may konting improvement. Ngayon, parang biglang 30 years ng total shift, parang na-shortcut ng isang bansa, di ba?
Well, that's what happens when you have a global crisis. I mean, hindi naman everyday na darating yung COVID that will change the behavior of everyone in a snap of a finger, in a way. I mean, imagine, yung idea pa lang na kailangan mo lagi nakamask, you can't get out. Diba? Like, when you meet a doctor or someone, alam mo yung pagiging frontliner nila, alam mo yung parang nakakatakot, and at the same time, parang you have so much respect for them, unlike before na parang pag doctor, hindi naman ganun ka, alam mo yun, yung tingin natin ngayon, parang heroes na talaga sila kasi grabe na talaga yung nangyayari. And like every week, like people are dying, a lot of challenges are really happening with the people you're working with, and parang feeling ko tumibay rin talaga mentally yung mga tao kasi parang we'll just have to deal with this, or if not, parang malulubog ka rin.
Lulubog, oo. And then, okay, coming back sa Tier 1, do you have any projects or currently any upcoming projects or a collaboration or big event, online event that you are, of the next quarter, or maybe etong December, you have something you want to share?
For me personally, I just go to talks like this because I just like, like meeting people and learning from people also, outside of like them asking me questions, and I just share my thoughts because I feel like this is one way for me to help educate people about what we're doing in esports and gaming, diba? And the whole industry. And then overall for me, like sa Tier 1 naman, we have the Gaming House, which is our PBB reality show. It's coming out in ABS. It's in ABS-CBN. Basically parang where we have a PBB type of show that we put in people inside the house, and then after 3 months, one becomes a Tier 1 talent, and he or she will get a contract. So yun, that's an exciting a reality show for us that we're doing. Second is of course Blacklist International, which is our MLBB team, which is part of the franchise league here in the Philippines. And kami gusto namin maging world champions hopefully with Blacklist. That's the second one. And I think third, I'm just looking forward for 2022 because, a lot has really happened in 2021. Pero as you go into 2022, we will be heavily expanding in Japan and in the other countries that we want to be in. So, yeah, yun lang naman yung parang mga ganap ko sa buhay pa.
How about the personal life?
To be honest, like when you want to build something that will really leave a mark for future generations, you have to set that aside in a way. Na parang personally, like I have no parang free time and time for like doing other things, but it's fine because not a lot of people naman find their passion, and their passion is their work then. So for me, like I can set that aside, and maybe I'll just deal with that 2 years after na lang kasi I've had my fun. Alam mo yun? For now, I'll just focus on the goal.
Building, yeah. I see. Okay, some words or piece of advice sa mga aspiring content gaming content creators out there. You might want to share.
Ako siguro like I doubt naman na gaming content creators will watch this. I don't know. Pero if you are watching,
maybe entrepreneurs.
Just, don't heavily focus on your start and your methodology because those will change down the line. What's important is you just start, and eventually you'll get to figure it out once you're there. So it's very important just to start and deal with the things na kailangan mong i-deal with after the thing. Kasi, alam mo yun, wala namang pumasok sa entertainment space in gaming na alam na nila lahat And you need to allow yourself to make mistakes. You need to allow yourself to learn the in and outs of the industry. And then so that by the time na malaki ka na, parang alam mo na kung paano i-handle at kung paano i-present yung sarili mo. But I think my bigger message is to the ones that are listening to this podcast, if you're, like a CEO or an HR person and whatnot, na parang at the end of the day, leadership, in my opinion, is leading by example. And this is a time na sobrang hirap for a lot of people because of COVID. And I think isa sa mga dapat nating inisip talaga is the humanity in the people that we're working with, diba? Like their mental health, yung physical health nila, kung meron bang, alam mo yun, nangyayari sa pamilya nila around. Because, we can't force the targets, we can't force the timelines if hindi sila functional as a person. And I think we need to, I think as leaders, as leaders, it's our obligation to check up on them as humans and not just someone we're working with. Yun lang siguro yung message ko sa lahat kasi madalas ko nakukuha yan sa isang high-octane environment na dapat ganito, dapat ganyan, dapat ganito. Pero I mean, wala namang masama kung tatanungin mo sila kung kamusta lang sila.
And then, last one, yung core team mo, how many of you? Yung core team?
For the core team, probably we're like what 12, ganyan.
12.
12 in our mancom.
Nakasama.
12 in our mancom. We have 5 people in our execom. Tapos 120 people working in the company, 1,000 plus talents. We're operational in 6 countries.
Shit, man. Crazy. All right. That's our today. Mr. Tryke Gutierrez, CEO of Tier 1 Entertainment. Thank you for joining us this week on Honcho on the Air. Make sure to visit our website at cnhr.org. Thank you so much from our team.
Thank you.
Team ng Tier 1, maraming salamat po. The rise of esports during COVID-19. We'll definitely ask you more after this and see if there's something that might be something that we can share, especially on the side of maybe different tier of group of people that they might be feel exciting if we have some digital transformation coming from the side of esports.
Sige,
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Maraming salamat.
I'm sorry if I don't look the part na CEO because I'm just mobiling today. Pero yeah, just be you.